Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, Jens Davidson here again. I'm going to play with cast iron skillet again. This is a pancake griddle that I bought, brand new. It's a Lodge. Picked this up in, I think 2015 when I was in graduate school, because it's just much easier to make pancakes in this than a regular skillet, because this has low walls, so when you need to get a spatula in there to flip the pancake, you don't have much of a wall to fight against to get the spatula underneath and flip it. So we're going to do a little experiment. Bam, look at that. Wow, clean as a whistle. That didn't take long. Alright, now let's take it inside and clean it up with soap and water. Here's the trick, ladies and gentlemen. I am not pre-seasoning this skillet. I'm just using it. You can see I've already kind of reached that polymerization point, part of it, because the oil kind of gravitated away from it, but I am throwing a couple breakfast sausages on here with no pre-seasoning on there. Virgin cast iron, as virgin as it really can get. I cook with oil whether I'm using this really nice Danish Teflon or whatever it is, skillet. I use oil on that too. It doesn't matter what I'm cooking with, I'm always cooking with some sort of oil. But this is our experiment to see how well cast iron cookware works when you don't go through all the effort of trying to pre-season it. So I got to use a little bit of exhaust fan. And as you can see, you're going to season the skillet while you're using the thing. So maybe the truth of the matter is, we don't really need to get so fed up with pre-seasoning a skillet. We're going to see if this works. I've got breakfast sausage here, and I've got 3 eggs over there. I'm going to put those on when I'm done with the sausage. And we're going to see how well this thing cooks without any rigorous pre-seasoning business. I'm going to try and keep the oil fluid on the surface. Sorry with the camera, I'm just using my phone here. I don't want particular areas getting too, as the flames heat up, you can see the oil kind of drifts away. And so I want to kind of keep the oil covering the surface, so I'll be moving it around a bit periodically to do that. Also, another thing I've noticed, when I did my initial seasoning video of this skillet, the 1950s 3-notch Lodge, I thought that the skillet was rusting right before my eyes as soon as I took it away from washing it with soap and water. Looking at the handle here, maybe I was wrong, because I didn't wipe any oil or anything on there, and it's not rusting. I just dried it off immediately, and I think it's fine. So maybe a lesson learned there. So with the burner, this is my hottest burner, and I started off with the thing on max when I had the canola oil on there, and left it on until I started noticing that we were starting to smoke. Once I reached the smoke point of the oil, then I went ahead and reduced the heat down to about half. It's kind of hard cooking with one hand. Here we go. Alright, maybe a little bit too done. But hey, I'm no chef. You know, we're going to call that a sear, alright? Let's say I did that intentionally. I need to pay more attention to time and less attention to video shooting here, but otherwise I think this is going just fine. You know, there's resources online that say, oh yeah, the first thing you should cook on your skillet is this or that, or yada yada yada. I'm not paying attention to any of that. I have breakfast sausage in my fridge and I got eggs. So that's the first thing I'm cooking on my skillet. I think these patties are probably done. Time to put the eggs on. I hope they're done. Looks pretty good to me. Yeah, it's probably good. Alright. Move this oil around and then we'll throw the eggs on. Thought about whipping them up into an omelet, but I did that last night for breakfast or dinner. We're just going to do 3 fried eggs and see how that goes. Even with the burner on 50%, it's still smoking. Dang it, I got eggshell in there. Sweet, got it. I don't know about you, but that looks pretty freaking amazing right there. I never cooked eggs in a skillet, I've only ever done pancakes. And dude, that is like a, man, that is a gigantic egg thing right there. I'll let this cook for a little bit. I keep forgetting to get black pepper. I'm gonna throw lemon pepper on. And the real litmus test is going to be if these eggs stick. And I got a pretty good feeling that they're probably not going to stick. Even on just a pretty much unseasoned skillet. You can already see over here it's sort of lifting off. It's not sticking to the iron. So with just the most minimal layer of seasoning you can possibly ask for, I think it's fine. Look at that. It's not sticking. All you need to do, yeah, seriously. There you go. I'm doing the egg test on a skillet that's not even really seasoned, alright? How do you like them apples? So, I think this is a pretty valuable lesson. Do we really need to go through all this painstaking trouble of seasoning a cast iron skillet? I don't think so. I think I pretty much just proved it wrong. Unless you're some kind of curious individual who wants to fry an egg on a cast iron skillet with no oil or butter whatsoever. Even for the sake of flavor, I wouldn't even do that. But even on this high dollar proprietary coating scan pan skillet, which frankly does a friggin' good job. I would not cook without oil or fat or butter or whatever on that. So yeah, hopefully this video blows up because I think it'll really put this whole pre-seasoning business on its head. Question that I have, which I haven't really done much research into it, is go back in time to the 1800s and the heyday of Griswold and Wagner or whatever, all those premium makers of cast iron cookware from the olden days that are all pretty much dead now. Did they pre-season their skillets? Because Lodge kind of sells you on being the ones that first pre-seasoned a skillet. That transfer, the eggs stuck so poorly to the skillet that the transfer did not go very well. That almost went straight off of the plate. Look at the underside, it's absolutely beautifully cooked. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. It's perfect. And there's the aftershock. I'm just going to wipe it down with my dedicated cast iron cookware towel. I've used this for seasoning my other cookware. You can see I even got a bit hot. Burned a hole through it. Again, do I ever need to do this again? Or should you just forget about trying to season your skillet and just use the thing? If your seasoning flakes off because maybe it didn't stick to the iron very well, do you really need to care? Do you really need to spend another 20 minutes smoking out your kitchen? Or should you just continue to use it as is and not worry about it? I think these are very valuable questions. And I think my dinner this evening pretty much answered those questions. Just use it. I'm kind of guessing that maybe back in the old days of Griswold and all them, maybe they just wiped it down with a thin layer of oil so it wouldn't rust in the store or in transit, shipping, what have you, and it was up to you to do all the seasoning. Maybe Lodge was really like the first ones who actually, wow, we got tempering colors here. Maybe Lodge was the first ones who got a pre-seasoned coating on their skillet. You generally get these colors, these blues right here, around 450 degrees, which makes sense because canola oil smoking point is, I think, 475 or 500 degrees, somewhere in that ballpark. So it makes sense to have tempering colors. It's quite beautiful. I think this is going to be a fantastic skillet. And I think it was a very, very fortuitous experiment. So one other thing I wanted to cover before calling this video done, that scan pan skillet that I mentioned, that thing is actually damaged. So I've had it for a couple of years, bought it in April of 2019, and probably a year ago, maybe a little bit more, I was making an omelet in there with a frosted glass Pyrex bowl, mixed up eggs for pouring the omelet in, and the bowl slipped out of my hand and dented and kind of abraded the surface a little bit. And in addition to that, over the years, I've used plastic spatulas. I've never used steel spatulas in this thing or any metal, but my plastic spatulas are a little on the harder side, and they scratch the surface. That will never be fixed. So that's a huge argument for cast iron, because my mother came over back in January, I think, when I had my cast iron skillet, beautifully black mirror condition, the 1950s one, and she made spaghetti, and she gouged the living heck out of that thing with a steel spatula, and it was scratched all the way down to bare iron. And today, several months later, you wouldn't know it. In addition to that, you go to ScanPan's website, and they will tell you that these skillets are safe up to 500 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know about you guys, but when I cook anything on a stovetop, I'm not standing there with an infrared thermometer monitoring the temperature to make sure that I don't go above 500 degrees Fahrenheit. That's friggin' ludicrous, if you ask me. So, if it were a cast iron skillet, I did a YouTube short, I don't know, a couple months ago, where I took my cast iron skillet, put it inside my barbecue grill at about 550 degrees, and I was cooking a burger on the skillet because you get a really nice sear. I wouldn't dare do that with this scan pan thing or any proprietary, aluminum coated skillet. No way. So I think the versatility of a cast iron skillet, the durability of it, and the ability of it to heal itself is all the argument you should ever need that you really don't need any of these nonsensical aluminum skillets. They're pointless in my book. So I hope this video has done you some good. Hope you learned something from it. I sure as heck did. And thank you very much for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe, and we will see you on the next video.